Here we are in Waco, Texas.
Yes, we're celebrating Angie's birthday on our way up to Dallas.
Yay!
So that means, what are we going to see today?
We're going to do some magnolia exploring.
Yeah, so you'll hear more about that on our next video.
I want to go find Chip and Joanna Gaze. Just kidding.
We thought that we'd be chasing the sun, but it hasn't been following us, or we haven't been able to find it.
I'd say the cold has been chasing us.
Yes, we've had a couple nights of freezing where...
We even had ice on our water hose.
Yes.
Attached to the camper.
So what are we going to name this video? I don't do matching shirts. That's a joke between the two of us, because when Ange first showed me the very first shirts she found at Sam's Club, I said, no way, not gonna wear these shirts.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So we know who won that argument. You know, I'm a true Northwesterner. I got this streak of rugged individualism in me where you don't do everything matchy-matchy. I want to be my own person. That's been one of the things we've been learning on this trip, is that Christianity actually looks different from place to place to place we go. Sometimes we think that conformity, looking the same on the outside, is what makes us Christians. But we all know that that's not the case. God looks at the heart, He looks at the inside, where real change takes place. Mm-hmm. The real change has been that heart level change that we keep getting encouraged by, because we keep seeing it one life after another.
It's been really fun to just be faithful to whatever God provides along the way as far as connections, and following those leads, and then just really listening well to those people that we're getting to sit across from. Yep. It's been a gift. Yeah.
So part of my resistance to these shirts is because I didn't want to look like everyone else, and I don't think any of us wants that. And so part of the enjoyment of this trip has been learning to enjoy the differences. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was resistant of wearing these silly shirts on the outside, but we'll probably keep still.
And now he's always looking for new matching shirts.
There you go. I've been converted.
It's kind of
funny. So since mid-January, when we came back, where did we go first?
Well, we went back to Chicago for Duncan to preach at 180 Chicago. Had a great week of connecting with our leaders there.
And while we were in Chicago, Angie's ear started acting up again.
Yep.
And?
So I went to another ENT, and I had another infection.
Yep.
As you guys all know from our other video.
Got that settled, and then
got over that.
a couple days later,
a tooth, one of my crowns broke.
Yep.
So I had to have a tooth pulled, back tooth. So I'm still getting used to the hole in my head.
So like usual, she's been the problem child on this trip.
True.
No, you
Duncan
know that's not true.
has been very kind and taking good care of me. So.
Well, it's I just feel horrible that she's had to go through all that. From there, we went back down to Florida, where the RV had been parked. We went from the airport to our RV to the tire place.
Discount tires.
Yeah.
We got tires all around on the RV and the car.
Yep.
We knew that was coming, and we have new tires.
Because it was such a discouraging start, we went and we did a day at Disney World, which was really fun.
Some friends gave us some majorly reduced tickets, and we just had a blast that day. Crammed in all, 4 parks in one day?
Yeah, it was probably too much. We want to start by just saying thank you to Mike and Paula over at Wycliffe Associates.
Definitely one of our highlights was connecting with you and hearing all about what Wycliffe Associates volunteers do. Very inspiring. We loved our time at chapel with you, and then the gathering that we had, just sharing ideas and hearing God's stories of His faithfulness.
We also got to reconnect with Will and Diane Stevenson,
who are limited term with Cadence, and they are just phenomenal people. They had a gathering at their house for us.
Yeah, over in Melbourne.
Yep, there were about 15, 20 people there, and just a highlight time hearing their stories.
We were able to reconnect with Jim and Gail Coakley from 180. He's doing a writing sabbatical down in Florida.
Yep.
Got to have lunch with them, really fun. While we were in Orlando, we got to reconnect with some alumni. There was Annette Peterson.
Yeah, what a highlight. Annette, we go 33 years back to K-Town days.
So we started actually met my husband in Schweinfurt at Hospitality House with Brad and Debbie Elgin. We got married. We moved to Kaiserslautern to be at the house with Dick and Mary at our Reynolds.
My mom and dad. So fun.
33 years. It was the last time I saw Angie. Yes.
Pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. A lot of life has happened since then.
Yes. So I remember one prayer gathering at a Bible study, and just had a bunch of big guys in uniform all bowing their heads praying, and it was just such a huge impression about, this is what God is doing in his people all over the world. Right now I work as a counselor for Wycliffe Bible translators, so in support of Bible translation around the world and supporting the mental health of our missionaries and their families.
And one other couple we got to spend some time with was Tim and Jada Smith.
Yay!
They're old friends from our Multnomah days, and
They're with Pioneers.
and it was just really fun to reconnect after all the years.
Yep. So we left Orlando heading to Tampa, and on the way we got to meet with Bev and Stan Arnold, and they are limited term with Cadence. They go back to the Lamberts and the Amores Hospitality House days.
And then we also spent part of a day with Shane and Julie Wyand, another 180 couple, down there on some business. And then from there we went up to Hudson, just north of Tampa, to spend some time with
Freddie and Sarah Feliciano and the kids. Great time with you guys. Thank you for your hospitality. It was so refreshing to our souls to just connect at those levels that we did, sharing and praying together.
From Tampa, we went back north to Gainesville. We came down through Gainesville and got to see Roy and Debbie Guerin. We went up and got to see Roy and Debbie again. We love catching more time with you guys. Again, they serve with the navigators there, so we have a common heart for the military. We went to see Dan England.
He's an alumni from the Claggers Ministry. Had a really special time hearing his story and just so grateful.
From Gainesville, we went up north to the Fort Benning area.
We actually camped outside of the Beckers' homes. That was nice. And we got to pop back and forth between the Beckers Ministry and the Busenbarks.
One of those keys to definitely supporting families both while you're in and even after you get out. I mean, it's, I'm not trying to be cliche, like legitimately it's kind of been our home away from home, if you will.
They're both doing phenomenal work. Had all kinds of variety to our week, going to a marriage and family time on base with the Beckers, to hospitality house evening with the Busenbarks, and watching all of their 8 kids in action in the kitchen. It was pretty amazing to watch.
They're a hospitality house unto themselves. While we were in Fort Benning, they also helped us to see a bunch of museums in the area. What a gift to be able to get some of the history of our military.
And Dan, through the lenses of him, because of his experience being in a tank, wow.
Yep.
It was just eye-opening for me. I really appreciated the history lessons, so thank you, Dan.
When we first came into that area, we got to go up to Auburn Community Church, where Tony Abernathy, who is an alumni from Bruce Dower's ministry.
Bruce walked up to me and he goes, "Hey man, nice to meet you," and just introduced himself, and he goes, "Hey, we have this kind of Bible study going on at our house. We'd love for you and your wife to come by and your kids." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, sounds good." We ended up being there at Fort Bragg and Polk Air Force Base for like 2 years, and the whole 2 years we were there, we were involved with the Cadence house, with Bruce and Wendy Dower. And Bruce and I became really good friends. The impact that Cadence had just on our family, our girls, helped out with babysitting at the house. We'd go there basically once a week and have dinner, like they mentioned. And it was our community group. And the more I've gotten to know about Cadence and what their ministry is, it's pretty special. When you're overseas, it's hard. Like, there's no family, there's nothing that is normal, there's nothing that is what you're used to. And to have a place that is right next to the base where you can go to, and it's enlisted an officer, but both are there, which is sometimes a little weird, but it's just a cool place to be able to get away and go get a great meal and be encouraged with some fellowship that you don't normally have overseas.
He goes to Auburn Community Church, which I got to travel with 3 years ago to Ghana, and to reconnect with them. And it was such a gift to see the impact of a trip 3 years ago. It makes me so excited about the possibilities of alumni trips where the ministry of Cadence doesn't have to end when you get out of the military.
Yeah.
So that's some of the dreams we have. But the time with Auburn Community Church, that was really special.
I came away from that time just really amazed at their stories that they shared from 3 years ago of just having 1 week together with Duncan, and the nuggets of truth that they're still hanging on to this day. I mean, they were quoting them to me as if it happened yesterday. And I mean, I was in tears most of the evening just in gratitude of what God had done.
Yeah.
And out of that time, we also got to hang out with Gentry
Jarrell.
She's at Auburn University, but she's the daughter of Albert and Denise Jarrell, and Albert's one of our board members at Cadence. So that was a really fun gift.
On to Pensacola, Florida, where on the way we got to stop along I-10 and hook up with my old friend Tim Burke. What a gift to be able to reconnect. Oh, what a joy, what a dear friend he is.
And then we got to go see Skip and Ruth Main. What a highlight. We just so appreciate you guys. They're coming up on 30 years of service with Cadence. We had a meal that we shared, and Skip had his birthday while we were there, so that was fun to share that with him. And then we had a gathering with them at the home of Julie and Andrew Doan.
Yep.
And Emily, their daughter, was also present, and she is a freshman in high school, and she shared her story of life change from Okinawa days, being in CSM, one of our ministries with Kenji, David Hutchings, and Katie Lambert.
So I remember meeting Kenji briefly at the parent info night for the middle school that she was going to in Okinawa. Then you met Katie, and you went on the retreat.
Every Tuesday we'd come from school and it'd be open cafe where you can just invite your friends and then you just hang out there.
Yeah, and you met you had made some good friends there and got pretty close with Katie, and now she's rooting for all other youth groups because this was her best youth group experience. There was great community there and
Definitely the best.
So it's fun to see an alumni from the youth ministry as well.
So cool. Another really fun surprise connection at that gathering was meeting Debbie and her husband Chris Swain. Debbie is the daughter of Bill and Connie Shryack, who served years ago with OCSC Cadence.
I'm Debbie Shryack, maiden name, so Bill and Connie were my parents. They were with OCSC from, I guess, '88, and that's when they entered the mission field with OCSC. So we were with Italy for a year, loved it, of course, and then their next assignment was Hanau, Germany. But I was very big in the youth group. I loved it, I loved the retreats, and it was just such a great thing that there was something for the students or the young kids. And then my dad headed up Trinity Christian School outside of Mannheim. So I spent middle school there. So we left Germany just at the beginning of '91. My mom got really sick, so they medevacked her out of Landstuhl, Kaiserslautern, back to Tacoma, Washington. So my parents had a house there. My dad, of course, right back on the base, still opening our house to Cadence, and we had people and families and young GIs coming in, and I feel like my parents lived and breathed Cadence, you know, up until really when my dad passed away. And I'm really glad that it's been 30 years for me, in a sense, to still be connected.
That wraps up the trip for the last 4 weeks. So, do you think we'll keep wearing these silly shirts?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think we probably
Maybe
will.
for a few more videos.
As much as I resisted the idea, it's kind of
They're
become our
fun.
thing.
I like
So, we'll see what the next one holds in store as we move on to Texas. Any last thoughts as we wrap things up?
Thank you for your love, your prayers, your support. We couldn't do this without you. Love you.
Bye for now.